Finally, let's go through test plan checkpoints. A test plan includes an introduction, scope of testing or so-called testing scope, objectives, strategy, and schedule. It also details test environments, resources, roles and responsibilities, entry and exit criteria, and risk assessment with mitigation strategies. Let's review point by point. First of all, your test plan has to include identifier and version. Then goes introduction to your test plan. Then test items, subjects, and objectives means testing objectives. Software or project features to be in scope, which means to be tested, and not in scope or so-called out of scope means excluded from testing for which you are not responsible. Testing entry and exit strategy and approach. Then pass, fails or suspension criteria means when your testing is passed, when your testing is complete is considered as fail, or when you suspend your testing. Testing tasks, testing environmental needs, resources and training need with responsibilities assigned using, like I mentioned, RACI metrics. Test period schedule, test deliverables, what kind of deliverables you promise to complete during your testing phase. Risks, mitigations, and contingencies. Approvals, who approves your testing, and in which cases and when, how, who you will receive your official for your testing efforts, your official sign-offs. Let's go next. How to create a test plan. To write a test plan, define the scope, objectives, and criteria that then develops the test strategy and schedule. The plan should also outline the test environment, resources, and risks, and include processes for defect reporting and bug validation. Step 1. Analyze the project and define scope and objectives. You have to remember a few points here. First of all, you need to understand the product which you're gonna be delivering. Analyze the product's requirements and features to grasp its purpose and user expectations. Define the scope, clearly state what will be tested in scope and what will be not tested out of scope. Set objectives and success criteria. Clearly state the goals of the testing effort and define what success looks like. Establish criteria. Define entry, exit, and or suspension or resumption criteria for the testing process. And now, step 2. Develop the test strategy and schedule. Create a test strategy. Outline the overall approach, including the types of testing, means functional, performance, regression, and specific techniques, for example, black or gray box. Plan the schedule. Establish a detailed timeline with milestones and deadlines that aligns with the project schedule. And allocate resources. Document roles, responsibilities, and necessary resources such as your own personnel, tools, and hardware required. Step 3. Detail the execution and deliverables. First of all, you need to specify the testing environment. Define the hardware, software, network configuration, and any other necessary setups to replicate the production environment. Remember, your testing environment is supposed to be exact replica of the actual production environment. Plan for test data. Determine the test data needed to simulate real-world scenarios. Document deliverables. Identify all documents, reports, and other outputs that will be produced as part of the testing effort. Define defect handling. Establish the process for reporting, tracking, and validating bugs. And step number 4. Risks. Identify risks and manage the plan. Document risks. Identify potential risks that could impact testing and create contingency plan to mitigate them, so-called risks and contingency. Get stakeholder approval. Remember about this. You are not supposed to start testing without approval. Review the plan with stakeholders to ensure alignment and gain approval before proceeding to testing. Stay adaptable. Be prepared to adjust the plan as needed, but maintain accuracy and conciseness throughout the process. And before we end this session, I need you to remember one major thing. You have to receive, once again, you have to receive official approval from project stakeholders and reviewers for your test plan. Major points. Testing scope. What's in scope, out of scope. For what you are responsible, for what you are not responsible, no matter what. Assumptions. You have to record your own assumptions. What might happen during testing for this project. Milestones, major dates, like when testing is going to begin, when it's planned to end, and the trace review date. What is the production date? Resources, actual resources working on this project, along with their contact details, because during actual testing phase something might happen. Somebody might leave the company, somebody might join the company, or something else might happen. Defect tracking mechanism. How do you track your defect? What defect tracking tools will be used? What's the SLA, service level agreement, for fixing critical to low levels? For example, for high priority defects, it should be like 1 to 3 days, for example, or 5. For low level, it could be like months or more. Test management procedures. Who will be notified when there is a critical issue? That report will be sent daily. If status calls will be held daily or weekly. Where it will be held, who is required to join. For example, for normal waterfall projects, you are practically obligated to send to project stakeholders daily execution dashboard. And for agile style project, you have scrums for this, daily scrums. Work allocation, resource distribution if more projects are being tested. It's you need to keep it in mind, because sometimes your resources, they're included in execution of multiple parallel projects. And finally, entry and exit criteria. When can a project be accepted for testing? When you start, for example, only when smoke testing passes. And when can a project be testing or tempted as testing complete? When all test cases are executed and all, let's say, important defects found are fixed.